Pleasantview Museum. I have made some changes to the gift shop. I just didn't like the way some of the things looked, but I'm a lot happier with it now. I have like a toy section, some flowers, things like that. I added this cool kind of aquarium in that space, and we have a snapping turtle now, which, fantastic. So yeah, I didn't really do too much in the lobby yet. The lobby is gonna be done soon. I wanted to work in the paranormal section today because I knew it was going to be kind of cramped and dingy and just random, but I thought it would be fun. I'm not 100% sold on how I ended up decorating it, so I may make some changes, but for now, I think it looks good. It looks like somebody had a very special interest and said, listen, I will donate money to your museum, but you have to have all of my paranormal stuff in it. And a section in the museum was born. I really wanted to use that Forgotten Tomb thing, but it took up so much space, and this room is not very large, and so I was just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I had to fix that a little bit because it was clipping. And I know I could have stolen from the unfinished section, but I like that that exists. Eventually I'll do something with it, but for now I like that it exists. I'm also sad because now I'm looking at all these posters that I collected, and a lot of them I ended up having to remove because they just didn't fit. I had too much wall art, basically. But also it didn't look like it fitted. And also I just realized I put that robotic fish in the ground and I don't think I ever got rid of it. So there's a robotic fish on the floor somewhere. It's fine. See, I didn't have any real ideas on what I was doing going in. I'm at the end of my pre-recorded queue, so I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do things. And so I was like, I should probably work in the museum more because there's a lot of spaces. I have this. There's like a recycling section, a kids section, and the cafe, and the lobby. So that's 5 other sections. And then the upstairs. So I'm just like, I need to start working on this again. Which, I don't know why I stopped. I think because I just got ahead of myself, and I'm like, alright, I want to stop and reflect and see what I like. So now I'm just kind of beginning to cherry pick what I want and what I'm like, maybe. I really wanted the Gidry pictures though, because that's from the Sims 4 Paranormal Pack, so it's perfect for this section. And obviously all of the goodies that come along with it for ghost containment. I love the cow plant room as a random aside. It just looks so good. I do make this little cubicle smaller. I wanted to have like more in there, but then I was like, it doesn't make sense to have shelves because then it's going to be so far away, and that's like, whatever, fine. Getting all these things into the cases was kind of hard because there's a lot of it, and these cases are not that big. I managed it, but they are definitely very, very jam-packed full of stuff. I think I ended up putting 5 of them in this room, which again is a lot. Like, this room is probably the only room that I would say would be difficult to get like a wheelchair through, because I try to keep that in mind. Just personally, I know how hard it is to sometimes get around these sorts of places. I know the robotics area, that's another one that I did put some little steps there. But otherwise, I've been trying to just keep accessibility in mind. So that's why there's an elevator and not stairs, that sort of thing. This is the only room that's really tight, I would say. So I was getting mad at the footprint on these because I was just trying to move everything, and I'm like, fine, I'll do it this way. Got the haunted doll. Yeah, it's looking good. I'm going to be sad when this is over because this has been a much longer project than I thought it would be, but I've enjoyed it immensely. I think I'm going to continue decorating random spots in Pleasantview, but I don't know where I'm going to go from here. Because there's a lot of lots in this Pleasantly Thriving setup, but a lot of them look fine, so I don't really need to do anything with them. The only reason I did this one is having an H&M just didn't make sense for what I've been doing here. So I was like, well, they don't need a giant H&M store. I get what the creator was trying to do. They were trying to include all the packs. Of course, H&M pack, there needs to be an H&M store. But this is a very small town. It didn't vibe. But again, that fits in perfectly because a lot of times, sometimes big stores will try to exist in these small towns and then they go to business because it doesn't work. I take out the or I did take out the arcade games because they just, as cool as they are, I'm gonna have an actual arcade, so yeah, this is me going, maybe I can have it, maybe I could do it. Which in retrospect, I think that would have been a better idea than all the cases, but then I would have lost a lot of the cool CC. It's just, sometimes you have to pick and choose like what is important to have in the room. Like all the werewolves posters and stuff, they're really cool, but should they be in the museum? Yeah. I wanted the Furby Saturn picture. I can't remember who made it now. I think it's Mocha Music. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, I asked, you know, where can I find that? Because I saw it in somebody's gameplay and that person had made it, and I asked for it because I desperately needed it in my game, and now I'm putting it in a museum. This is the kind of person that I am. Honestly, I think that I would have it in my house. Yeah, I was able to use some of the werewolves pictures at least, so that made me happy. I got rid of the grave things because again, I just didn't have the space. Sometimes when you put a whole bunch of stuff down, you don't know what, I did not at the time know what kind of space I'd be working with because I hadn't even done the layout. I absolutely wanted to keep the mermaids though. That was non-negotiable. Excuse me. I also wanted to keep this table, but its footprint was killing me throughout. I was like, come on, just be a little bit out of the way, please. And then instead of putting the mermaids behind glass, I decided to just put them behind velvet rope. Just because they didn't need to be that far out of the way. And they are different. They are two different ones, I believe. I could be wrong, but they had different descriptions, so I counted that as them being different. I kept the kind of gallery wall looking thing because I'm pretty sure that's Gidry again, so I was like, well, I want all of the Gidry pictures. It's very important to me. Now I'm just kind of editing again, getting rid of some things either for various reasons, like the skull planters didn't really need to be in here. Things with wonky footprints didn't really need to be in there. I'm also finding duplicates because again, the way that I've been doing this is sometimes I'll find something and I want to make sure it's in a section and I don't remember if I placed it, so I just put it over there again. Because worst that's going to happen is, oh, I already have this, and delete it. There was going to be a plumb bob section, but I was realizing very quickly that the amount of space I had was just not, it was not enough, so I had to axe that section. Excuse me, goodness gracious, my allergies are just killing me. I have to like relearn what I'm allergic to because I moved, and every time you do that you have to kind of like, what's going to be the bad season for me? See, we have like a little gnome in jail, I guess. I wanted the camera equipment and the typewriter just because it seems very classic ghost hunty stuff. I wanted all these weird taxidermy things. I wasn't sure where the case was going to go, but I was like, yes, this needs to be here. As you can see, I've edited it down quite a bit from what we originally had, which tends to be pretty par for the course. Okay, I lied. I think there's only 4 cases in here, not 5. See, it's tight. You still could technically get a wheelchair through here, but it would be a bit more difficult. Which is unfortunate, but I did try. Because while I personally don't have to have a wheelchair, I do have a cane, and sometimes that's a struggle. I think I talked about how when I was in the Smithsonian, I almost pulled some shenanigans because I was mad at somebody, but I didn't do it. It was just considered. Honestly, I probably should have my cane a lot more than I do, but I still struggle with, because people have a very distinct idea of what disabled is and isn't, and I don't meet that criteria of looks disabled. Oh, I forgot that I had this whole pile of stuff, and I was like, crap, I want to keep this, so then I had to throw it in, but it's fine, it works. But yeah, I don't really meet the visual expectation of disabled sometimes, so it's frustrating, and I don't like to be perceived even on a good day, so a lot of times I just don't bring it with me. I'm trying to be better about it. I do honestly need to go and get a disability placard, but I'm really, really resisting that. Because I just keep telling myself, well, it's not that bad. I'm like, yeah, but what happens on your bad days when it is that bad? I'm like, well, I don't know. It's a struggle. So yeah, this is kind of the basic layout of the room. I wanted the death fish and the other one, I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but it was important to have that there. I'm kind of moving portraits around because I knew that wall towards the beginning was really crowded and I didn't like it. But I wanted to keep those pictures, so I was like, well, I'll keep one portrait of Guidry over there, and then I'll move these other ones over here. Like I said, I'm still not happy with the layout of this. I'm not really pleased with it, but it's fine, and I can always edit it. I've done that in a couple spaces, like the gift shop. I've gone through and been like, okay, I don't like this, and I don't like this, and I'm kind of unhappy about this, and I've fixed things. The point is just get it done. I do need to finish the flyers before it needs to be done, but you know, it'll happen. I also don't know why all the lights were on before and now they're off again. I don't know why, so I'm just ignoring it for now. Yeah, I mean, I think it turned out okay. Especially for like a little paranormal room in a tiny museum. It's not really, I don't know why that portrait's so dark. I didn't even adjust it, it's just dark. But yeah, for a tiny museum, it's just kind of out of the way. I think that this is fine. I do fix that picture. I see it's off the case now. I didn't notice it first, but then I fixed it. Once again, that table was in the way, but it's fine. I love that Furby picture. I'm not even kidding. I would totally have that in my house. I actually have a project Furby that I want to make pterodactyl screech, because it's possible, because it works. So I just need to change the noises it makes, but that's very involved, and I've been lazy. I like the Science Center. I think I did have like a bench there, but I changed it to that picnic table and I like it so much better. I do wish I had it in darker color, but I'm fine with the way it is now. I'm so glad that I have this recolor. It's just perfect. It really is. It's obviously, ideally, I would have a whole bunch of them that looked a little bit different, but I don't need that. That's just a want. Because that's what sells this idea that this is a museum. It's like there's descriptors everywhere. Without it, it's just not the same. And yeah, we're pretty much done. So I'm curious what you think about the Pleasantview Museum so far, what you maybe would have put in the paranormal section. Because there is so many options and so many different ways to go with this. I was, again, trying to keep the low budget thing in mind. The idea that this is not like a high fancy place. This is very local, very small, very do-it-yourself. But I think it turned out all right, despite all that. Yeah, this one needed a bigger sign. There's a whole bunch in there. Also, if there's any cool paranormal CC that I maybe missed that would be good for a museum, I'm always welcome to suggestions. And yeah, we're pretty much done. I know I keep saying and yeah, but and yeah. So let me know what you think. As always, I really do appreciate you guys watching. I don't know how. I have, I think, 165 followers in this very niche, weird corner of the internet, but I appreciate it. So if you like this video, definitely give it a like. And what am I doing? What am I doing? I don't think I'm doing anything else. I'll see you guys in the next one.